Hello all, welcome to another Table Talk video with Marist Free. We are into a new day and it is May 14, 2021. I was trying to prepare this video for us and so we can keep on understanding what I am and our purpose and my understanding while we journey together, understanding peace that have no storm we seek, for we are the peace still in the storm. We all peace still in the storm, back to peace that have no storm. It's amazing how it's been of generations upon generations of us to get to this place. Advancing has always been an advancement of like a step by step from kindergarten. I could say now we are in the university. Hopefully we can enable an understanding that this should be the final stage of us to be able to heal and return to reality of the world, the reality, right? After accomplishing of school, we are able to return back to reality from where we came from, reality, right? We are taking this to the real world, knowing that the physical is only like a classroom, like I've been trying to explain on the other videos. The solid state of us, limited. We are assimilating information of the physical to take it into the mind. The mind is the us, the geisha state, like I was trying to explain of the previous video on body, mind, and soul, which is still the continuation today. Body, mind, and soul. When it comes to talking about body, mind, and soul, it's very important for us to really be explicit and really understand what it is, because that is who we are. And if we can't understand us, then how do we follow spirituality? How do we get to this place of us coming together, of being one? Because the divisions we make, a kingdom divided only falls. So being together, we are a worthy ground, a solid. It's amazing how the true solid us is the mind that we call the geisha state, because it's so flexible that you cannot bend. When it gets in the room, it fills the room. Right? That's the solidification of the geisha state. It has power greater than of the physical that is limited. That you can break, you can hold, you can do all, you can turn around the way you want to, the physical state. Okay, and now we have the liquefied state, which is the soul, that sometimes we're able to touch, sometimes not. Like it only just tells us that we are water. We are like water. Okay, why do we have physical water? Is to explain the reality that we are. It's like a mirror we look into. Okay, to tell who we are of inside. We are like water. Okay, that is swift, like a geisha state we cannot see, but of water we can tell of who we are, of the mind looking at water, that if a part is disrupted, if another is disrupted, we all have to heal that part before that part spreads all through. Okay, we are supposed to be orientating each other, knowing that, okay, of the physical, that we are so limited. Gas can get into it the way it wants to and do and go all around. But now we of the physical limited have a realm that we look up to, which is of the spiritual side, and of those that we call our ancestors. Okay, so we being able to connect with this of us, we should be able to also understand that of this spirit realm, we have those that are limited of understanding, or let me not say that's how we see it, but they are only like a test giver, that if we have healed, the test will not be necessary anymore. Okay, that when they're testing to see if you have reorientated yourself from the fall that you have become of, knowing that when you come into this world of the physical, the solid state, it's like the heart coming out of the chest, and we need to return it back. And this is why most of our ancestors and and of our elders tell us that we are traveling a road. This is only a journey. This is not our home. We've heard of our ancestors and elders while growing up that we pass away. We're trying to understand, what is that? Someone is dead. What does that mean? Are they condemned? No, it's just it's another way of saying that we part from this state to another state. Of a better state should be another condemnation state. Now it will depend on how you understand it. That if you understand that going to another state is becoming of a more limited, of being a human, that is a higher of being of this physical state, that shows disorientation. And this is why we have those of the higher of us that test us. And if you're living among the physical state, thinking that those testing you are on uh, 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 are doing the right, like if I give you a stone to eat, will you eat it? And that if you are eating it and thinking that I'm only testing you, right? You say, no, I can't eat the stone. And you turn to get food. And now the one giving you food is on the right and the one testing you is on the left. So if you cannot, if the one giving you stone you can't eat, you turn around and take from the right, the both of them go, okay, this one is worthy to join us back. Okay, of the low state that they are. If when they leave that state, it's okay for them to become even gas without even being liquid, because they are whole, right? Now, you joining them is to make another worthy of them, to make a work lesser of being one that also is being assigned to be able to help others to heal by testing. Okay, but now you of the lower state, you should be able to tell which one is the tester and which one is the one that is you're supposed to gain to pass. Okay, the level that you are in. I hope you understand where I'm going to with spirituality when it comes to us knowing ourselves or being the body, soul, and mind, knowing that the mind backs every image. Every image have a mind, that even a stone has a mind. Okay, it breaks down. It's not stubborn to break down. It breaks down, it makes grounds. Somewhere it folds, it forms and becomes back of a whole. Somewhere it's slippery and it has different characteristics, all like books for us to look and learn of who we are of within, of disruption, needing to become whole, of disability, seeking to become able. I plead we understand. We didn't need to have another human showing all these characteristics of deformation, of learning only of those that of what we call innate, were those that were able to sustain this of their nature. But we now enabling on us is more of a complication, and now it's like they are not worth. And so, were they even supposed to be doing this? No. And why are we even humans? Like I was asking in the other video, why are we humans? We haven't answered that question yet. Why are we humans? What is going on? Now we don't want to look into Christianity, because some look into Christianity so much, because some are not Christians, some are Buddhists, and others others Islamic, and others atheist. Okay, so we're trying to look look at a concept that can be general, that covers us all like an umbrella, that we all can relate to, which is peace that have no storm. Why is there a storm in the first place? Before we get there, we have to first of all understand who we are, after looking at spirituality and religions that have been enabled. Okay, and why these religions are being enabled, and they trying to get into a spirituality that is a little bit disrupted and has set some apart. Okay, looking disorientated and repelling, and looking like disorientated to them, and then those repelling also looking at those of spirituality looking like disorientated. But when we come to a place of understanding peace that have no storm, we begin to relate more, because we all know what peace is. Okay, that even those that are making peace looking like a storm is okay. We understand that that's an arrogant pride. Okay, because storm cannot heal, cannot correct the storm. Hitting on someone to shut up, It's not correcting the storm. It's not healing them. The problem is still there. It's just that they're laying down. That when they wake up with anger, remembering what you've done. So it become arrogant pride. So now what do? We need a table talk. And this table talk is spirituality, because it has to do with the mind, body, and soul. Knowing that the spirit we are talking about here is the mind. And it still relates with all other that we've been learning from our religions of Christianity, Islamic, Hinduism, and every other that we have known, that we are all seeking a place of peace that have no storm, being peace still in the storm, of how we have called them, all is still the same. And now trying to understand this, of the last video, I was trying to go back, trying to understand the body, mind, and soul. I had to go back to look at how our ancestors and elders and those of us have been able to make us understand of the religions we've enabled, of spiritualities, to understand what our component is, who we are in the first place, before even enabling spirituality, that we realize that we have a three component, which is the body, soul, and mind. I know some are saying that the mind is not the real us, it's the soul. Some are saying that well, everyone knows that the body is not the real us, because the flesh passes away. We have seen that. But now the complication we have now is of the spirit, soul, and mind. That some say the mind is not us, it's either the spirit or the soul. Some say the soul is the spirit that is us, not the soul. So at the end, what is spirit? That I came to explain that to me. I understand that spirit is the mind, even though, if we look at it, well, no, the mind is the battlefield. We are like drops of water. And like I was saying in the previous video, that it's not the drop of water that has a problem, it's the ripple that it makes, knowing that it's the effect of us. Okay, we are of higher. We are of peace that have no storm. Understanding, enabling a storm of the mind becomes a disability, and a disability is the ripple, and that is enabled because of the feeling, the effect of being of low self-esteem. So why are we feeling low self-esteem? Why are we feeling less of becoming of a state of ice, of a solid? Okay, not liquid, not because solid is so limited. Why is it so limited? What is going on? Because of the effect, the ripples, the storms we feel of hurting. Is hurting okay? No, it's not, because you always get to a place where it's always complicated. That even when you're already used to a stage of pain, the next stage of pain is so hurting and reminds you of the pain that you had, and that is telling you again that you cannot be used to pain. You cannot let pain be a part of you. So now we're trying to get out of this pain. Why is there pain in the first place? The mind needs healing. There is a storm. There's a battlefield in the mind. We're trying to piece still this battlefield. Okay? Why do we have this battlefield? We are still getting there. Now we have to understand who we are first. We are the body, mind, and soul, the solid, liquid, gas of understanding, where we are of different stages. When we part from this ice, we can become back a liquid state, which is like the soul, like an in between, like of the supreme that made us. The supreme that made us is the gaseous. Okay, is the gaseous state, but that gaseous state is peace that have no storm. Okay, that when the gas after having storm like gravity, it becomes back liquid, and then the liquid becomes water pouring down, and the more the density becomes ice, like we have seen of our elements of the earth. Okay, all this bringing us to the mind. We are taking knowledge into the mind, assimilating to we feel us back to the water that we were before the fall and disorientation. Okay, so now understanding that the what the how I was trying to explain the body. I try to look at I look at the researches that I did, the websites that I from, I talked about the African tradition that I did get from ncbi.nlm.nih.gov by MG Mogobi, 2014. That this research was made. That was so beautiful, and I did give explanation of what he he explained of of what African tradition is, and I really appreciate it because I really feel like I need to understand more about the African tradition and where we come from, so we can be able to peace still our storms. Okay, the struggles that we have been having. Then now I also did compare it with the Abrahamic religion that which is comprised of the Islamic, Christianity, and Judaism, right? And this was brought to us. Islamic was already with us though, of Africa, you know, um, um, but Christianity was brought to us by the Western world, the Greek and in the Europeans, okay, Romans and all those, of which they are religion, because their spirituality was very similar to ours of Africa, following gods, meaning that the gods we follow are only of us that have ascended, that have gone to the other side of like like liquid, like the solid state, like to the liquid state of in between the gas and the gaseous state and the solid, which is liquid, right? And they've been able to, when you become liquid, you are flexible than the solid. You can become back solid, or you can go back to become gas. So you're in between. So they are able to contact with the higher than us, right? Like the Christians would say the angels are higher than us of the flesh, right? They will say, like to my understanding, because I grew up understanding more of Christianity instead of African religion, but it's amazing how the Holy Spirit of peace that have no storm is enabling me to understand this Christianity that I've understood, to take it back to my African ancestry and tradition and spirituality to understand, and even um, 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 navigating me into Hinduism, and it making me embrace all this religion, embracing atheism. And it's amazing how it's enabling me to embrace every being of only peace during the storm and not a storm on a storm, that we are supposed to be a one, even relating me to the elements of the of our earth, what they are, what does that mean to us, of the mind. We are not the physical, we are the mind. It's not about burden of the flesh, it's burden of the mind, by renewing of the mind to understand that the physical is limited. So why are we in the physical? But are we just gonna break out of it? No, we're gonna gracefully get out of it. It's peaceful the storm back to our reality of who we are, of flexible, and the most flexible is the gaseous state, like like all these understanding of how we of the Hindus, the how Hinduism look at spirituality, and how Buddhism look at spirituality, of the Buddhism saying that is energy, and then Hinduism are talking about a universal God, but this universal God are other gods under this God. The talking about the Brahmin, and okay, and then the Brahman and the Brahmin. Okay, so we understand that that's the highest state in the Hinduism religion of us, which is peace that have no storm. We seek the creator of all being. Now, is the creator and creating us to become a storm? No, of us being lower than the creator is supposed to be able to we see that we have a self will to be able to understand who this one is, the creator of us. Now have to return back to the creator who is a peace that have no storm, okay, to become sons, to become back sons worthy of not enabling a storm. Is this one enabling storm? Is this one a destruction, enabling destruction? We understand that peace was before destruction, so we want only peace that have no destruction. Okay, that if destruction has to exist is because construction has been. And why is there destruction? Is because the construction is not stable, so they are looking for a stable ground. So we need a stable ground, which is peace that have no storm. We must enable of this a creator. Okay, however we see this creator is how we have to work back to peace that have no storm. Okay, and understanding every religion, will be able to understand returning back to peace that have no storm. Okay, if you see it's energy, positive energy is the energy that is healing. The negative energy, some say they need it to order to get to positive energy, but without negative energy being positive, you don't need negative energy. Okay, you need to stay positive. When you say something is too much, it's positive. When it's too much and not expected, that's negative. So we are trying to correct negative back to positive. It's what it is of those that will be of Buddhism, right? And the Hinduism will be seeking the Brahim, which is among the greatest of us, of power, seeking by being peace that have no storm, where we all are ascending to, like they talked of their samsara, we are looking for they talked about samsara with karma. We're trying to stop karma, which is the negative energy, in order to gain nirvana, right? So all this is still the same explanation of us looking up to those of of in between us and the higher creator of us all, and those in between are like uh, mediators. We look up to them so that they can heal us. And how do we get to be there if we do not know who we are right now, of the state where we are solid, looking to become liquid, and of that liquid, there's also disruption there, but should be limited. And even if it's more than limited, we are trying to correct back to the gaseous state that was supposed to be, should be of peace that have no storm, because it's so flexible that any little heat goes like very, it's very fast, right? The gaseous state is very fast, like light. So light is like walk like the speed of light. You know what that means. Like it's very fast. Okay, so when we look at all this, we begin to understand where our mind is trying to lead us to, is of being peace that have no storm, that of the stable ground that we're supposed to be should be that have no storm, so that we are more applicable, and which is the gaseous state, the light state, which is supposed to be peace that have no storm. That when we have storm where there's light, it's so much complicated that you need to come back to become ice. We don't want the ice state. We don't want this solid state. It's so complicated. So we have to be able to heal now, right? Of enabling the correction of karma, so we don't have karma, so we don't have torment, we don't have punishment, we don't become storm against each other, we don't become obstacles of each other, or disorientated of the mind that we have seen today, of the body, that other minds can take, can you do something, you're like, oh, I didn't mean to, how did I do this? Okay, knowing that this flesh that we have, many can come into it's like it's like a bus. You are the driver and you have others in there, and you are in control. You have self. You need to let them know who is entering and who is not supposed to, knowing that this state does not even belong to them. It's not the right state, and tells us that we need to return back to the right state that is greater and not limited, which is a gaseous state where we all belong, that everyone is individual and you cannot get into anyone when you get to the gaseous state, right? So you become of self, okay? And you should be peace that have no storm, so you don't be colliding with each other and becoming like heat, okay? Of the physical, those some gaseous can, some ice become liquid and still disorientated, stick to go become gas, still disorientated, run and come back into your eyes, and trying to confused, and you have to direct them, hey, be careful, this is my eyes, you're going to be careful, you walk right, you learn like this and that, you know what I mean? So whatever state that we are in, we need to be able to be seeking peace, turning the storm back to peace that have no storm. We should not be limited. We should not feel lost, but knowing that it's of the mind, that every image has a mind, and that mind is the need of healing that we need. That when you heal, you begin to understand your state. That if you're liquid state, you're looking to become gaseous, of more freedom, of what we've understood of physics. That gas is the most free. right? We need free will. We need to be free from the hands of others, meaning that you have to become whole. And when you're whole, you communicate with others. They don't control you. Like being a child is not the best state because you have to follow everyone, even if they're doing right or not. You just have to be there, and it's very, very disturbing. Then when you grow up and become 21, 25, you're like, oh, I can't wait to part from that house. You know what I mean? And become my own, even though I'm related with them, but I will still be going there just saying hello, but I am of myself. And you know what I mean? So all this is not because we want to be like that, but it's enabling the understanding that the mind needs a stable ground, which is the geisha state, which is the self-will state, the state of being self. That when this body has moved on, it is only seeking to become whole. If we turn it back to ground or turning back to light, it should be seeking of becoming of worthy, that we know that at the end the earth is gonna become light again. Okay, everything is gonna become light again, knowing that the earth, the water is trying to take over. The water is light. It's amazing. It's really amazing how the ground everything is trying to sink. Like we're showing areas of how things, some landslide and all that. Land is not comfortable because the solid state is not its state. It's what we seem not to understand. So we are trying to make it possible that we can live this in these states without pattern, but we need to understand why we are of the state in the first place. We are still getting to the video of that. So let's understand more about us, our body, soul, and mind that makes us. Like I'm the like the website where I got my information concerning spirituality of how of these religions that I've named of African religion, the Buddhism, Hinduism, the Western world religions, like the Romans and the Greek and gods and all of us, and also of the Abrahamic religion, which has to do with the Islamic, the Judaism, Christianity. That every religion that I've named have their subsets of, you see many different, like the Tao and all that Buddhism. So I'm just trying to focus on the main ones that we are more common with, okay, and the little explanations, not really detailedly, but just little surfaces of touching of body, mind, and soul, how we relate of of ourself, because we have to find self before we know our spirituality or where we belong, and then the spirituality now we begin to seek, how we travel this road of peace in the storm back to peace that have no storm. Now, the African website that I did say was ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, okay, by Sir M.G. Mugobe. And then also of the Abrahamic religion, I did look at www.bl.uk, okay, concerning those three of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And also of Hinduism, I did look at vrindakuja.org, VRINDA kuja.org. About it's a Hindu philosophy, okay, as philosophy it's Hindu philosophy, and this one was trying to explain to us about Jiva Atma, that I was trying to that I ended up with the last video without completing. That is an individual soul. That is an individual soul. We all individual souls. We all are Jiva Atma, seeking to reach a Sachi Tam Tan Sachi Tanada. Okay, I hope I'm saying it right. Sachi Tanada. We all understand this. So, which I must give the explanation so we can refer it later on of how to pronounce it, which means seeking to reach seeking to reach an internal knowledge. Okay, and like an internal. I'm sorry, what did I write? Blissfully, to reach an internal knowledge. yeah, to reach an internal knowledge blissfully, like the whole, our whole. We are seeking a whole. We are like we are a soul, individual soul seeking to be fulfilled blissfully, to reach that height, that enlightenment of feeling fulfilled. Okay, of every new we reach, we're like, I reached finally. This is right. Keep on advancing. Same thing with Christianity, with Christ saying, I'm advancing to the Father. Even with Islamic, we've been traveling the world going back to the Father. Allah, God is great. We are seeking the Father. Africans, Africans, following their ancestors, we are all seeking for peace still in the storm. At the end, like I said, that we all have been trying to seek this peace of storm, even using storms like punishment to enable one that is doing something that is not right to get back to right, which is even more enabling of low self-esteem and arrogant pride. But with Christ, Christianity, he's trying to enable us to understand that those ways don't work, making punishment. It's of self-will to heal. It's of self-will to get back to that state of peace that have no storm, of us correcting ourselves. I believe we understand that we should be able to only encourage, lullaby, each other back, because it's not a child's fault that you gave birth to them. Okay, it is because of the desires of the heart, which is of 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 connecting with another, of the activities that enable a child to come into a world. So when you begin to seek those activities, what do you expect, right? So we all have been, and it's like addiction. It's like alcohol, and the more it becomes addiction. But the only addiction that of the flesh that we struggle with should be of the stomach, because the stomach, if it dies, the flesh is dead. So we have to feed the stomach. So, but we feed the stomach with what is more ethical, the plants, gracefully, knowing that okay, it's not even what the plants are also living. So eating from the plants is us returning. We should be able to gracefully get out of this fall. We should be able to gracefully get out of this fall, knowing that we can't keep on making other increase of population. We can tell the earth is deteriorating, telling us that. If we can be able to read and understand our world, we'll be able to get out gracefully. Okay? It's not a matter of the earth punishing us, it's us punishing ourselves. So we need to be able to heal, reorientating ourselves back to peace that have no storm, and how to get to it is by graceful on each other, by peace still in the storm. We say, God, have grace, have mercy, which is us. We are the God's reflection. When we reflect God, we are God. We are like a mirror to God. So we in that mirror who is that in the mirror is me. Okay, and is that you? Yes, it's me in the mirror, because you know what you look like. When you put your hand on the mirror, you see the same hand in the mirror. So that should be you in the mirror, right? So you in the mirror, but it's an image that shows you, and the you is you standing out, right? So Father we are reflecting Father. We are like Father's mirror. We should reflect the Father right, knowing that if we are peace still in the storm, we should be able to get back to peace that have no storm, because that's the right reflection of the Father that we are seeking. Okay, I'm not trying to call any God here because of images that people are disrupted with, and some are just repelling away. But if we know peace that have no storm, we're able to seek this peace, knowing that any disruption that we see, we are able to correct, right? Of some things that we've called peace. We've come to realize that it's not peace, and we're trying to correct that because we're looking for the Father, we're looking for peace that have no storm, and that's peace still in the storm. Okay, correcting every images back to the right, not becoming of low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is not peace. Okay, you are just down there feeling like low, like respect. Following even the things that are not supposed to be done. When they say slap that one, you slap, knowing that you're respecting your parent. But no, that's a low self-esteem, even though it looks like peace to you because you're avoiding trouble with your parents. But that's low self-esteem. So what are we looking for? Peace that have no storm, that we trust, peace that have no storm. Of every other peace still in the storm, we only do what? We love and not trust, right? We love, meaning that we correct them back. We correct each other. You cannot fall apart. You cannot be a storm on a storm. You only be a peace still in their storm. Is how we love. Caring for each other is what we do. Caring for each other. Okay, we trust only peace that have no storm to care for each other. Okay, and that this is what the Jiva Atma is. We are Jiva Atma looking for Sachitananda, okay, to reach that place of fulfillment of the mind, of knowledge, blissfully, okay, so with no pain, no storm, no regret, no arrogant pride or low self-esteem at the end. We want humble pride at the end when we have reached this, which is soul nourishing by affect. They say you nourish your soul by affect, which is love. How do you get this love? Is of, that's the blissful. It should be of joy, happiness that should not cease at the end, should not feel like you're cheated at the end. Okay, so the love has nothing to do with of the flesh, but of the mind. Okay, that the flesh should be healing when the mind is healing, and it should be of the outcome. When you're able to sort out the outcome, like they say of nursing, that you have to assess how do you enable your plan, your care plan. You have to know your diagnosis, right? You assess the patient, you enable your diagnosis, you make a plan, right? You sort out the goal that you're expecting. You can't just start working without sorting out your goal. You have to know the goal that you're aiming at. You're aiming at this one to be smiling at the end. Now you see that your activities you're doing, are they going to make him smile? You have to sort them all out. Knowing that if you pinch them, it's going to make them cry. Or if you give them food and give them more than they're supposed to have, they're going to be hurting in the stomach, right? At the end, even though food is right. If you give them alcohol, they're going to get drunk, okay, even though it's sweet in the beginning. So you have to be able to differentiate this and know what you're doing, right? Knowing that you want to be able to just enable just what is right of the main phase that they are of the physical, eating plant, not seeing blood, breaking animals and all that, seeing blood, okay? Because blood is life. So, however, we are trying to understand this, I plead that we begin to understand what we are of the body, mind, and soul, and what we're looking for is peace that have no storm, reducing every negativities that we have enabled. The karmas, we have to reduce them. Is what we are struggling. If we can enable this of this present, it's better than not trying to come back again into another flesh. Let's be able to achieve our worthy of peace that have no storm of the mind, the best. So when we are in the liquid state, in the soul state, in the other side, we are doing better. We are leading better. Okay, we become a better ancestor. We become a better leader of the spirit realm, of the soul spirit realm. Because this physical is also a spirit realm. It's a spirituality realm. It's a realm of spirit. We are also spirit of the physical. Okay, the mind of the physical and the mind of the spiritual, on the mind of the soul. I know the way we've been putting this has been really disrupting us how to understand, because even now it's difficult until I had to sit back to really focus and realize who we are. And then when we reach the Atman, we are now a whole, an eternal life. Okay, and then this is what the Hinduism understand, and this Atman is now of what we look at the Brahmin, and that's the highest state, like the Geshe state I was saying, more flexible and more power or authority, and you're able to, those that are of liquids that are able to look up to you, looking for also they are greater. The Atman of the flesh, there's greater Atman which is of the Geshe state. Every state that we go to, there's a greater, and we are looking for that, the greatest peace that have no storm. Now, also of the Buddhism, I also got from the website, the bbc.co.uk, bbc.co.uk. Okay, I talked about it, the reincarnation, and samsara. We're trying to get out from samsara that has karma, trying to go back into nirvana, so enlightenment. So all those, everything still relates back to the same, seeking for peace that have no storm. And knowing of the body, we're trying to get into out there, the spirit, the mind. And we know that the mind is what we know of the physical. Spirit is difficult to work with, to understand, because of so much going on of us being the physical and limited. So we know of all the images that we see, there's a mind backing it. And this mind, we have our own mind, and we know what the mind is supposed to be. Peace that have no storm, that we begin to judge, not to condemn, but to edify and heal. Right? So after understanding of these few religions, I have enabled of what they understand, of what they enable us to understand of what spirituality is and our difficulties of understanding, of relating right, of all of them being having some differences and even of mind, we begin to see that what is really important is to focus with the mind. We all know the mind because the body we have has a mind. That when the mind is disorientated and it's like someone playing your mind, we know the mind is a battlefield. And what do? We are able to stand our ground. That even when you're not able to stand your ground because of the other side try to take control, you know who you are. That even when they take control and that part of parted, you know who you are, and you cannot become of low self-esteem of seeing what you've done, but knowing that okay, because of this being possible, it means that no human should be in this world. You know what I mean? Meaning what? We gracefully get out. And that is by us being able to realize that, hey, we should not be having innocent immortals into this mortal flesh. Immortals should be of where they belong, of greater than the flesh, that are able to be of self, right? Without being controlled by others after above. If this is so limited of being humans, so we gracefully get out, knowing that we get older by gracefully, leading and healing and pleading with the ancestors, with those of higher to please understand and how we work and making them understand some things that are not affecting the eyes, which now is trying to heal right, no disorientation, but peace, still in the storm, reorientating us back. So after understanding all this of where I'm leading us with spirituality of motivation and inspiration, I want us to also understand why I decided that I looked and realized that the body, mind and soul, that the mind is the us, and the soul and and the body are, are like that houses us. Okay, the body houses the physical solid, and then the soul more houses the liquid, right? And it's like the liquid state of us, and we are the gaseous, which is the water in three stages, right? The mind is the gas and becomes liquid or can become solid, can go back to liquid, can become back gas. You know what I mean? We can all travel these three states, but we should be of sound mind, right? This is a video, a picture, a demonstration. I'm gonna get better with my demonstration, so please bear with me of this first demonstration of drawing of what I'm visualizing. If you could relate of what I'm saying, you could see this this is like a subset. The first one is more like a subset of three, eight, like a three set, two, eight, like two in one. The body, the first, the soul, and then the mind. And you can tell from there that the mind is in the soul and in the body, right? The body and soul have the mind. And for a better understanding, okay, when the body is the ice, can become the liquid, and then the mind is the earth and it's the gaseous, right? We can travel all these three states, but we are like it's water. Mind is water. It's like mind is spirit, right? Like water is spirit, represents spirit. The spirit also representing mind, right? And then we can even see this of the set of the A and B set, interset here, that the interset is the mind. So that's more of what is this like, of another view, right? Of another view of the mind, of the body and the soul. The body is more of a physical demonstration. The mind goes with effect. It has the five senses too, but more of effect, okay? And also of the like of then also of like the pyramid right there, that you can see, that was I'm trying to explain to us of what it's like, of the mind we are of the is the top, the peak we are, and then the body and the soul only shows the effect of the mind that we are. Mind is the spirit. I hope we understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, we cannot talk about spirituality without talking about these three parts of us. So we must understand who we are. Okay, I plead we understand how the body is like the eyes. We see, we touch, but the mind is like the gestures, the God's, the true us, right? We can travel, we are flexible, we can travel all through. But before traveling, we should be able to know our purpose is peace, turning the storm back to peace that have no storm. Okay? And then of the liquid state, which is like this is the soul, you can touch sometimes, and then like a shadow, right? Like a shadow, you can touch sometimes, and then sometimes you cannot touch it, right? And then there's an interstate of us, like between gas and liquid, or solid and liquid, that you can touch. You can touch the bones of one that has left us, but and then they can travel. When you've broken the code of the flesh, you can travel, into the liquid state. You know what I mean? To to the gaseous state. But now, what will be a problem is the complications that you face in these states, that you're trying to regain back what your purpose is. It's peace during the storm, that you should learn of the physical. That when you look back at the physical, you're looking for the one that you can grasp that from. And it's us now, the physical should be demonstrating of peace during the storm, what we're supposed to be, not hitting on each other. Okay? Of all these states, we have the disorientated, and we're trying to heal. Okay, but the gaseous state is the state that is more stable and more flexible and worthy. But you know what I mean? So the gaseous state also have these difficulties, right? But we're looking for the right gaseous state, which is the reflection of peace that have no storm. That's what we all have to become, right? So the soul will become back the mind, which is the spirit, right? The spirit should reflect the Brahmin, the creator, okay, of us, okay, of the African ancestors. We know that we're looking up to God. When we look at the ancestors, we are so limited to be looking at God. So we look at the ancestors who are of in between us and the Father, and with peace that have no storm. But peace during our storms until we get to the Father, that the gaseous state is the spirit, and there is very, very complicated and very dangerous. So we have to be very careful. We should heal well. So when we're going there, we should be able to be in a side where there's peace that have no storm. That when we get to a place where there is peace doesn't have storm, we should be peace during the storm, so we don't become a complication. So let's gracefully travel this road. Please, I plead, let's gracefully travel this road together. We are learning more, and I really plead that we really get to understand my point of view, and we travel together gracefully and safely. Okay, not of arrogant pride, not of low self esteem, but of humble pride. For we all are worthy. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm trying to show us of this demonstration and illustration and explanation. I hope you can see a little bit of what I'm trying to enable. Our videos will be getting better very soon. Okay, I'm glad I'm able to enable these videos of you now. With time, I know we'll do a great job, and I hope this is really helping us to understand what a concrete mindset is to the abstract we are seeking. Okay, we are the mind, the soul, and the body. We should be able to understand this, so we should not be misunderstanding what we're doing. And being of a soul, of a body, or being able to get out of the physical that we are, like, we should be able to know who we are supposed to be of higher beings, not seeking to become of lower beings. Okay, so please, I hope we understand this picture. And so I'm gonna end this video today of us understanding what a body, mind, and soul is, knowing that the mind is us. So to better put them accordingly, I would say body, soul, and mind. I know we always say body, mind, and soul, but I will say body, soul, and mind, and the mind is us, and that we can heal, okay? By understanding our purpose. If you understand your identity, you can heal without holding on to someone else's identity for too long, because you must have your own license and drive your own car. Your car is waiting for you. Beautiful car. Why will you be relying on someone else's car? We all have a car. Beautiful car. So we all have peace that have no storm. So we should not be relying on someone else's peace. Okay? Knowing that when we get into the higher realms of better, we are of self, not depending on others. Okay? Let's have the truth with us. I plead we understand from this disruption that we have enabled of becoming of a solid of disorientation. We are able to get back to the whole of us, of our own true identity, the geisha state of right mind. Stay blessed. I hope we are able to understand more while we travel this road together of peace still in the storm, back to peace that have no storm. Stay blessed. Thank you for watching.